Okay, welcome to the first Recruit Grads podcast, informal chat type thing. We're going to be doing these somewhat frequently from now on. And I've got Henry. He's one of our ambassadors here at Recruit Grads. Do you want to give a quick intro as to just like who you are and what you're helping us with and what you do?
Yep, so I'm Henry. I'm from Newcastle University, and what I'm helping recruit grads with is getting students on board. So I'm handing out business cards, I'm recording TikTok videos, and yeah, I'm trying to make the process easier for graduates like myself.
Great, love it. Henry's been with us for maybe like 2 months now. He's helping us a lot, so it's been fun. And so today we're set up. Henry's got some questions prepared just to talk generally about Recruit Grads, what it is that we're up to, so you can learn a bunch more, but hopefully you just gain a ton of value as well. I want to dive into some things that you might not have heard about, might not have spoken about with someone before, and help you think high level strategy about what it is that you do when you graduate uni and like how you set yourself up for success. And so, yeah, I've done no preparation. Henry's got questions. We're going to kind of fire through them and just have fun with it. So, Henry, I'm going to let you lead the way and sort of kick us off here.
Amazing. So the first question I have to you, which I'm familiar with, but probably not very many people are, is just who are you, where you come from, what you're doing?
Great. Okay, so obviously my name's George. I started Recruit Grads around about 4 months ago now, and we've just been heavily building in the background, testing things, piloting, and I graduated from the University of Exeter just over a year ago. So I'm 22, and starting this company has just been a huge, like, a huge journey so far. I'm really enjoying solving what is a very big problem, especially in the UK with grad jobs and the way that you're going about getting them and the way that employers are going about getting quality talent. And so it's always kind of been the vision of mine to start something in this space and truly make an impact on students and graduates. As I had a bit of a underwhelming experience at university, I would say, where I went and never really found true value. And so I did a lot of things on the side to build and develop skills. I worked at different startups, and all of that experience helped me really see how impactful developing a core set of skills can be on your growth and on the trajectory that you'll then have once you graduate. And so there's all of these different combinations of things that I really care about, and I'm sort of bringing into Recruit Grads at the moment, whilst I'm currently living out of a place in Bali. So that's the brief summary.
Great. And so you mentioned there at the start that there's a real big problem at the moment with graduates getting jobs and employers being happy with their graduates. I'm just curious, when was the first time that you noticed this?
I think it stems before that actually. So what I really noticed is that when all my friends were getting towards the end of their third year at uni, they like finally started thinking about the job that they were going to get. And so, you go through your uni life and it's very sort of meh, like who really cares? First year doesn't matter, second year doesn't matter, most of third year doesn't matter. You get into your last 4 months or something, it's like crap, I gotta get a grad job. And so I noticed all my friends going through this panic, this stress, this like cycle of then suddenly needing to acquire skills quickly and prove that they're good enough for a job and better than other people applying to it. And it's terrible because they never got told beforehand that they need to be thinking about this 2 years, 3 years in advance. And they were never taught what it is that they truly need. So there's just like this mismatch of advice that you're getting and what it is that you actually need to win as a student and then a graduate. And so, that's the real problem with students where I first saw it. And, seeing friends go through these application processes where they then don't learn anything, get no feedback, and then just get ghosted half the time. I just saw that was a fundamental flaw in the way that companies are utilizing their application processes and the way that, there's also data that they're unsatisfied with the students they're getting, right? And of course, there's outliers. Larger companies like, I was talking to an insurance firm, Hiscox, yesterday, and they're really happy with their graduates. They're getting great talent into their company. But what you see is that these smaller firms struggle to recruit great talent because they don't have great processes in place. They don't have a reputation for being a talent hub. And so that's the problem we want to solve for them.
Okay, nice. That brings me on a little bit to, you mentioned a lot about the employers there and their side of things, but what is the real goal here? Is it to help students or is it employers?
Fundamentally, the goal is to help students. Like I mentioned, I graduated a year ago, and seeing young people who don't truly know what they want to do with their lives going into university, trying to figure it out after being there, the whole strategy is just like totally fundamentally flawed. And so I want to help students realize that if they start preparing earlier, start learning and developing these skills that we help them do, there's a good chance that they're going to win because other students just aren't doing it. And so we want to help them do that. But it's bigger than that, right? It's that I want to help all students go through processes at companies where they learn, they get feedback, your data is stored so you're not constantly starting over again, and truly just like rebuild the approach of entry level job applications from the ground up. Like if you could just wipe the whole thing, clean slate, and start all over again, how would you build it? Because currently the systems are built on the same ones that your parents and your grandparents did. They go from CVs to interviews to maybe an assessment center, and then it's over. And it's the same thing. And now it's just become an AI on AI war. And fundamentally, I want to help students learn that using AI is not the answer for them securing the job of their dreams, and for employers to create better processes that help them recruit better students that aren't just passively applying to every place they can possibly. We had 1.4 million students apply to jobs in the last year for only 17,000 jobs. And so, it's really about helping create a bigger job market for students by allowing smaller companies to hire great talent with less risk by having all of this data on you and how you perform. But also helping these bigger companies hire better talent easier, faster, smarter, and help you learn a bunch along the way. So yeah, to answer the question, Henry, it's deeply rooted in supporting students on their journey. And, in order to do that, we also have to offer a good amount of value to employers.
Definitely. And you mentioned preparation. Let's say I was a student in year 2, starting thinking about getting a graduate job for year 3. What's the best way that I could be preparing?
Great. So it's very differential. Of course, this question can be answered in numerous ways. There's many different degrees and courses that you could be taking. What I will describe is the journey that I went on so that you can understand the route that I took. Because look, if you're a medical student, I'm sure I can help you with strategy and thinking about it, but I'm not an expert at it. So let's say you're someone in second year of university that's not 100% sure on what they want to do. And you're kind of sat there, you're like, what am I going to do after university? I'm getting a little bit worried. Or maybe you're not worried, but you're just having the thought. And most people are already like rejecting that thought and letting it wait. So you're already in a good position, right? If you're in second year of university thinking, how do I set myself up to be employable? That's great. And so the way that I'd be thinking about it is defining the core set of things that dream job of yours look for in a person. So, you say you don't really know what you want to do, go and figure it out by trying a bunch of different things. Okay. And then once you've tried a bunch of different things, figure out what skills it are that exist in those different things that helped you and are applicable across the board. Get great at that holistic set of skills. So someone who doesn't know anything or know what they want to do, something like sales, will set you up for success wherever you go because it's just getting great at communication. So if you can choose one or two skills that you really love and you want to hone in on those, you'll be well set up to then graduate university and be way ahead of your peers because you've got experience in things that they don't have experience in. But this links heavily to the concept of the proof economy. So if you don't know what you want to do, what you need to be stacking up is this pile of evidence that you're good at what you say you can do. And this pile of evidence isn't going and doing some internship where you shadow someone for a week. Most internships are totally valueless and add nothing to your life. So what you want to be doing is finding something that adds value but gives you this portfolio piece that employers look at and go, wow, that's cool. So for instance, when I was at uni, I did a bunch of sales stuff. My big thing was like I closed 500K in sales in my final year of university. And so to any employer, it's like that's a no-brainer, right? That's proof that you're good, that you have core traits that they're looking for. So figure out a way to go out there and get proof that you're good if you don't know what it is that you want to do. And it doesn't matter what you get proof in because any form of proof is applicable mostly across the board and will help you wherever you end up and help you get the job of your dreams, hopefully.
Great. And you just mentioned proof economy there. for the viewers out there and even for myself, by that, do you just mean work experience?
The proof economy is the world that we now live in. We used to live in a world that was built upon knowledge, right? Gain as much knowledge as you can. Go to a university lecture and gain knowledge. Go read a book and gain knowledge. We now live in a world where knowledge is pretty much dead. Like, you don't need knowledge, okay? You can get just in time knowledge now, which is the most important thing, whereby you just have a problem that you need to solve. For instance, today I was like looking around. We have a broken lock in the house right now, and I was thinking, like, how can we just figure out how to fix this ourselves? A quick chat with ChatGPT, and you pretty much have the solution. Previously, you'd have had to hire an expert to come in and figure that out for you, right? So knowledge is dead. You now have the ability to go out there and develop skills, and prove to future people that you have those skills. And so we don't live in this world now where your degree helps you win, because that's just proof that you can acquire knowledge and memorize it. We live in a world now where you need to have this portfolio of awesome stuff that helps you stand out. And it's going to be truly impactful. Not the internship with your dad or your parents or you, or whoever it is, or like the little job at a coffee shop. Go out there and do something that's going to help you stand out, and there's that little bit extra. And like, you'll just win that way. Like, you'll just do so much more than anyone else is doing around you.
It's a great perspective, and not one I've really heard before. When we talk about Recruit Grads, how does it really help me, a student?
So if you're a student at the moment, the common thing that we see is that you're just not that worried about your future for the most part. It kind of comes as you get later in your university degree. And the later you get, the more concerning it gets and the more stressful it gets. And so the way that Recruit Grads helps you at any point, because it's never too late, is by acquiring and proving that core set of skills. You know, I've spoken about the proof economy, but it is hard to go out there and get those skills. And so what we want to build is our own sort of proof economy in this system, where Recruit Grads runs these custom simulations that are 2 hours long, and we assess you on these core set of skills that graduate employers are looking for, right? And so then what this is to employers is proof that you have these skills. And it doesn't necessarily matter how you developed them, but it's like a quantitative system that demonstrates you have these skills, have improved on them over time and gotten better. So if you're a student that's struggling with, demonstrating that you've got great skills, that's what we want to help you fix as a gap, right? So on Recruit Grads, you can then come and do these simulations, get access to them. But of course, it's all much bigger than just simulations, right? We genuinely want to rewire the way that people get jobs. And so you'll have your CV and put it in there by AI. You'll have access to practicing AI interviews, and most importantly, applying to jobs through our partners, where you can get fast tracked to just doing an interview. And that's all possible because you've done simulations, you've done AI interviews that are practice ones, behavioral related, and you've done other applications through us, meaning that the next employer you apply to has this huge stack of proof and evidence that you're going to be great at it, right? And so they can fast track you through the interview stage and bring you in at the level that you want to operate in, with confidence and conviction that you're going to have impact on their company. Because that's what they want. They want you to come into the company and they need to get a positive ROI, return on investment, on what it is that you output.
Great. And I've got two questions to follow up with that. One being the core set of skills. How did you come up with them? Why these skills? What's the study behind them? And the second one being about simulations. You mentioned that term there.
Great. So let's touch on the skills first, and then we'll touch on simulations. So of course, research tells us there's many research articles, particularly one by Schmidt. He's got a bunch of them from years and years ago. And what they show are the core set of skills that make a difference in how you perform in your career, right? So they looked at this big list of skills and did these big surveys to CEOs, employers, and found out that there's this core set that make a huge difference and impact. And so what you can do then is take this core set, find some more research on entry-level talent and what it is that they're looking for, and that has a big impact, and sort of propose this bulk of things that are going to help you in the future. Okay, so that's what we did. And then of course we proved concept even more through just more conversations with employers and asking them, what is it that you see that a new hire brings in that's most valuable? And most of the time we hear proactivity and resilience. Okay, and so a lot of our simulations assess for this, but we're also looking at your problem solving, your critical thinking, the way that you adapt, the way that you innovate. Okay, so there's 8 core skills that we look at, as well as willingness to learn and grow. And so then once we take all these skills and we assess you on them, this is where the simulations come in. And we aggregate a score on your performance based on how well you demonstrated the skills in this complex challenge with a team. And then based on that, you get your score, you can improve it over time. Employers can learn a bunch about you then and how you've done. And, ultimately it just gives this rich amount of data for employers, but also the chance for you to just grow a bunch, right? You don't just do a simulation and leave it there out the door. You do a simulation, you learn things that you never thought you would. We have students that have joined our simulations and they say that the 2 hours they spent with us was intense, but they learned more than the last semester of university lectures. And so it's helping you get this level of intense growth in a high performance environment that's different to what you're having every day at university. Most students only interact with this kind of environment once they've graduated. And so we help you get that early, get a bunch of feedback so that you can have impact early on.
Great. And so there's obviously lots of different companies in the UK that do various recruitment for grads. So websites like Target Jobs, Bright Network. Why would a student pick you instead?
It's a great question. Look, I think that the common trend that we see in grad recruitment is that all these companies really just do the same thing, right? You submit your CV to a third party thing. They might give you some tips on it or something. And then they'll maybe email you with jobs that they think you're a good fit for that come up in their network. And truth be told, they all do the same thing over and over and over again. They're not innovating, they're not changing anything. They still use the same processes as every single employer uses. And so we're just against all of it. Like these companies aren't doing anything special. And so our goal is to create a system that rewards you in a different way and helps you grow along the process. So you'll only submit your CV once to us. That's it. You'll only go through a simulation, a maximum of like 4 times, unless you just want to keep on growing. And then once we have this rich amount of data on you, we're able to do things that other companies just aren't capable of because they don't have as much knowledge about how you perform, and they're not innovating in the same way. They're doing the same systems that have existed for over and over again. So, if you're a student that's looking for something that's different, you actually want to develop and learn skills whilst you're applying to places, which is like the most important thing, right? As a graduate, you should be looking for a job that helps you learn and improve and grow. And so, that's the goal with us, is that whilst you're looking for a job, you learn, improve, and grow. So I would just suggest that you think about working with a company or getting support from someone that's truly got your best interests in mind.
Perfect. And just before we end the conversation here, for a student, I'd just like you to say maybe in 3 bullet points, 3 sentences, what RecruitGrads.ai really does. I know we've mentioned it before, you provided a lot of value to what you guys do, but just a simple terms.
Firstly, it allows you to prove yourself way beyond your CV. Traditional processes just look at your CV, okay? And we want you to have proof that you're more than just that. Secondly, you're going to build skills that last for life. So we help students build skills that make a difference in their careers and help them make impact on the first day. And finally, you'll have the ability to fast track opportunities, the ability to go into a new company, fast track your way through it, but also through our processes, give companies this rich amount of data on you and land the job faster than ever before. And that's the 3 things.
All this information that you've just provided sounds great. And so what should I be looking out for as a student? What should I be waiting to hear from you guys? What's your current goal?
So currently, the real goal is just adding value to students and helping you learn. So we're launching a few different things over the next month or so. Number 1 being weekly meetings with students to talk about their strategy and help them really consider what it is that they want to do when they graduate and figure out how to best do that thing. Okay, so that's one thing. And the next thing is we're going to be partnering with a few different universities and societies around them in London and also Exeter to run some events with some guest speakers and just like virtual webinars where you'll get a chance to ask questions, learn more about how to win as a young person, student and graduate, and also learn some more about Recruit Grads and what it is that we want to help you do here.
Great.
Okay, Henry, we'll end it there. And it was great. Thanks for coming with some questions prepared. I hope that anyone watching this got a little bit of value and learned something about Recruit Grads. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.